Brazil is a fucking gigantic market. Is a gigantic market, right? So it's completely possible, it makes sense, I would say, to make things for that fan base.
Yeah, so,
Right? Just financially as well.
No, it's nice you say stuff like that, because we actually, because the companies don't open this, right? But we don't know the sales figures from Brazil. It's never said. And when when they do those researches and graphs and stuff, they say America or Europe or even Japan we have, but in Brazil don't have. So we actually do not know how big we are, so it's great to say that, because we imagine that, right? Because a lot of companies are coming here, and when you do the voice acting for the games and have a mission with a character from Brazil, we see that because we are a poor country, right? And games are really expensive here, insanely expensive here, games. So it is really hard to get.
It's a luxury, basically.
It is, yes. But the Brazilian gamer is a really passionate one, and a lot of people can't play the games when they launch and go after promotions and all that stuff. So it's nice seeing you say that Brazil is in fact a huge market.
Yeah,
right?
And exactly the point that you made about the Phantom Liberty and the inclusion of the Brazilian agency, that was the thought, right? Like, because we are trying to, when we build the worlds that we are doing, and right now maybe I'll speak from a Cyberpunk perspective. Like in Cyberpunk world, there's so many places, right?
Yes.
There's so many countries, right? That, developed in various different ways. And we want to talk about that and show that, right? So that was the intention there, right? I remember when I was sitting together in a review with my designers, open world designers, who were doing that gig, designing it, implementing it. And we were discussing about, what country actually we should represent, what would be fresh and interesting, and also something we didn't do yet, and would introduce something new, I would say, but also would make sense in the same time, right? So it's always a combination of all of those factors, for the lore and so on. So I'm glad actually you brought it up, because I don't hear it often. I brought it up. Everyone remembers about Ozop, but no one remembers about our agents.
But it's a cool quest, because I wasn't expecting.
It's actually really good.
Brazilian guys there. Yeah. I have a question about mods. You told that you sometimes use some mods on the games, and it's common. It's common to see some mods that the community makes for the game becoming a feature of the game later on the development. And Witcher 3 is a big mod game. I think that's a lot of great mods that the community created, and Cyberpunk also is a great modded game. I want to know how much these mods influence you guys to work on the game. If you guys contact the mod makers to insert something that they did, and if you guys ever hired a modder to work
great
with
question.
you.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a large topic, but in short, half of the quest team, so the quest team is the team that builds the quests. It's like 24 people right now. Half of that are former modders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Half of them is like...
Modder from Witcher?
For Witcher and Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
It
okay.
depends really in other games, because like Błażej Augustynek, the quest director now, he was a modder of StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1. So it really depends, but majority... so like half of the team is modders, and we have also modders in other departments. There's also another, there is a small team called Yiksoft. So Yiksoft is a team that is composed only of modders. It's around 20 of them, and they're working with us. Actually, this is our, I don't want to call them an outsource, because they're really not. They are more like part of us in a way. We're working together on various things. And what Yiksoft did, they did, for instance, the modding tools for Witcher 3, right? Because we just shipped recently the whole toolkit, the whole Red Engine free, right? For free for everyone. You can just go in and make your own quests, worlds, everything. Like all the toolset is there, right? And this was done by Yiksoft. And this is a team that has almost 20 people, just modders, And as I mentioned, like my team, the quest team, again, half of that is modders. And I always advise like young people when they ask how to get to the industry, I say, go mod. Just go and learn how to mod. Start from modding something. There's so many toolkits, so many ways to do it, and it's honestly really like one of the best people that we have, our former modders. I have so many amazing stories to tell you about this. Like there was at some point, what was it? It was 8 years ago. There was a video on YouTube that appeared about the guy who completely without modding toolset started remaking Witcher 1 prologue in Witcher 3. And I saw that video and I was like, damn, this is such a high quality work. So I asked Philip, who's a modder, and I asked him, do you know this guy in the community? And he says, yeah, I know who he is. Message him and tell him to send us his CV. He sent me the CV and we did the test. The test was wonderful. He fucking was great. He did great design test. Then we had conversations and he was, I think, 20 or 21. And he was at this time in Australia. And in Australia, he was collecting beetroot with like huge combines, like those huge harvesters that are driving and collecting. That's what he was doing. And he was modding in the evenings, basically. So I got him from Australia to Poland. And he's from Estonia and his name is Eero Varendi. Yeah, amazing guy. And he's a senior right now on the Polaris, so new Witcher game, right? He's obsessed about Witcher. And it's like, there's so many stories like this, like Philip Weber again, the narrative director of Polaris. He's a modder. He did the Lycaon mod for Witcher 2. Very famous one. He won like a contest for modding with this mod. Anyway, I can give you so many more examples, but absolutely. So that was an answer. Do we ever hire? Then the next thing was that you asked if we get inspired.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. If you look at the updates that we did for Cyberpunk 2077, right? Yeah. Some of it, you could see like, okay, yeah, there were like mods of that form, Of course, sometimes, and this is what we did in case of The Witcher 3, we contacted the modders, we paid them, and we basically made the mod part of the package. But in case of Cyberpunk, this wasn't completely possible because of just how the game is built. So in case of that, they were just more of rather the inspiration rather than exact implementation of that, right? So those are like, I would say, two different approaches that we used because it was basically a better way to go about it. There's the famous mod of Hulk Hogan's HD textures, about reworked textures that you could see in Witcher 3. Yes. And that's for instance, the mod that we basically bought from him, and it's implemented in the Witcher 3 complete edition. So a lot of it is just, is mods that we took. So, but that's the case of the Witcher. Cyberpunk was more of an inspiration, I would say, but also like we did a lot of changes because like, for instance, there is a mod called, I think, Pocket Radio, where you can like listen to the radio on the walk.
Yes.
But the way that mod was done, even though it was good, it was very basic. So and in patch 2.1, we actually shipped option to listen to radio on the walk, but it's a very robust implementation. It's the way it works with all the combat, all the scenes, it switches properly. It's just it's a, like, I would say, different ballpark. So like I would say that inspirations, definitely.
Just like the metro.
Yes, I mean with the metro it was a bit different because we kind of wanted to get it done. So it was just the fact that the mod was there was more like a proving ground of like, it's a good design to have it. So